Broadcasting live from the Meridics via OBS Studio Broadcast Center at Centennial Sportsplex. This is GNASH Hockey on the Middle Tennessee Sports Network as we welcome you to Losers Bracket Final Night as we determine over the next 3 hours or so, or actually next 3 hours, who will get the final spots in next weekend's championship games. First up, it's the Hine Cup Losers Bracket Final between 5-seeded Summit Page and 4-seeded USN. The winner will play Centennial next Wednesday night. That'll be followed by the Preds Cup Losers Bracket Final between 4-seeded Brentwood and 1-seeded Mount Juliet Green Hill Lebanon to determine who will face Ravenwood next Wednesday night in the Predators Cup Final. So a big night of hockey ahead, a big doubleheader. These are the only two games in town. It's simple. You either get a spot in the championship round or your season's over. You fall one game short of your goal. As the Zamboni, the electric Zamboni here at Centennial is almost done cleaning the ice here on Rink A. So let's go over the results of Monday's games. In the Losers Bracket semifinals, it was Brentwood beating Father Ryan 4-3 in the Predators Cup in overtime. Summit Page beating the Tennessee Outlaws 4-3 in overtime in the Henry Hine Cup. And in the winners bracket finals, it was Centennial beating USN-BA-Nashville Christian 4-2 in the Hine Cup, and Ravenwood beating Mount Juliet Green Hill Lebanon 4-1 in the Preds Cup. So all four teams on Monday that won games scored 4 goals. The schedule for tonight, very simple. Coming up in just a few minutes here on Rink A at Centennial, the Hine Cup Losers Bracket Final between Summit Page and USN-BA-Nashville Christian. Then at 8:40, the Predators Cup Losers Bracket Final between Brentwood and Mount Juliet Green Hill Lebanon. Pregame at 8:35 for that one. All right, so let's talk about the two teams playing tonight's game. Summit Page, USN-BA-Nashville Christian. This is the second time that they have met this postseason. They met on opening night. USN won 7-2 back on January 30th. But here they are meeting again. First up, Summit Page, coached, of course, by Greg Sowers. The other two-thirds of the defending Henry Hine Cup champions, of course, the other third, Station Camp, co-oping with Liberty Creek, were knocked out 2 weeks ago tonight by Summit Page. So Summit's path to tonight's game, again, they opened up this Hine Cup, losing to USN-BA-Nashville Christian back on January 30th, 7-2. Then beat Station Camp Liberty Creek 2 weeks ago tonight, 7-6. And then last Wednesday in the Losers Bracket quarterfinals, beat 2-seed Nolensville Lipscomb 6-3. And then on Monday night in the Losers Bracket semifinal, beat the Outlaws 4-3 in overtime. So here are the stats for the Summit Page players coming into tonight's game. They've got 3 players who each have 9 points. Aiden Garner with 9 points from 5 goals and 4 assists. Zach Ellis with 9 points from 4 goals and 5 assists. James Gilmartin, 9 points from 3 goals and 6 assists. Cam White, 5 points from 4 goals and an assist. Of course, he had a hat trick on Monday, including the OT game winner. Mason Breedlove has 4 points from assist. Jackson Crawford, 3 points from assist. Sean Scott and Jonah Ferguson each with 2 points from a goal and an assist. Daniel Lawrence, a point from a goal. Mason McKinnon, a point from a goal. On to goalie play. The stats for both teams are not correct. Or the stats for both goalies are not correct. So I've had to write them down on a card. Brady Tessier has played in 3 games. He started that game against USN a couple weeks ago but didn't finish it. He was pulled after giving up the 4th goal. But USN never lost the lead, so he got credited with the loss, or he got pinned with a loss. So he's played in 3 games so far this postseason. The first meeting against USN, then last Wednesday against Nolensville, and Monday night against the Outlaws. So his record so far in the postseason is 2-1. He's played just shy of 106.5 minutes, goals against average of 3.95, no shutouts. He's allowed 10 goals and 56 shots, turned away the other 46. His save percentage in the postseason so far is .820. On to Seth Wagner, who has played in 2 games this postseason. Again, coming in relief midway, or just past the halfway point of the game against USN on January 30th. But because the score or the lead never changed hands when he went in net, it was a no decision. Tessier got the loss. But he did start the game against Station Camp Liberty Creek, which Summit won, so his record is 1-0. He's played just over 61 and 3/4 minutes, goals against average of 6.12. No shutouts, obviously. He's allowed 9 goals on 49 shots, turned away the other 40. His save percentage in the postseason so far is .820. On to USN-BA-Nashville Christian, coached by Ethan Barrow. Again, after the 7-2 win over Summit Page on January 30th, they beat the Outlaws in the winners bracket semifinal on February 6th, 5-2. And then this past Monday night, lost 4-2 to Centennial in the winners bracket final. So here are the USN stats in the postseason so far. Aiden Osgener has 5 points from 4 goals and an assist. Ryan Barrett with 5 points from 2 goals and 3 assists. Eddie Crane did they give Brody Wells his goal? I think they did. I hope they corrected that. Let me just go back and look. Oh, yeah, they did give Mitch Profit his goal. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to think back. Yeah, this is all correct. Yeah, they got them all correct. Okay. All right, let me go back to reading the stats here. Aiden Osgener has 5 points from 4 goals and an assist. Ryan Barrett, 5 points from 2 goals and 3 assists. Eddie Crane, 4 points from 2 goals and 2 assists. Hoyt Sorensen, Brody Wales, and Nick Venable each have 3 points from a goal and 2 assists. Vasily Santos has 2 points from goals. Mitch Profit has a point from a goal. Benton Laird has a point from an assist. Jordan Palmieri has played all 3 games in net, so his record matches the team's 2-1. He's played just shy of 125 minutes because they had the net empty on Monday night against Centennial, and Centennial's 4th goal was an empty netter. His goals against average in the postseason so far is 2.35, no shutouts. He's allowed 7 goals on 72 shots, turned away the other 65. His save percentage in the postseason so far is .900. This is the 3rd overall meeting this season between these two teams. Actually, no, the fourth overall meeting. USN won the first one 6-2 on October 5th, the first regular season meeting. Summit Page won the other 3-2 on December 5th, but of course, a couple weeks ago in their first postseason meeting, USN won 7-2. So if USN win tonight, then they will win the season series, but if Summit win, the season series will end in a tie because USN's season will be over. And be no going back. Oh, man, this folder of rosters getting thinner and thinner. I actually only have 3 left in here. I've never printed Brentwood's roster because Adam Smith, Larson's dad, always provides me with one with the scratches marked out. So I did eventually update the Brentwood roster in my Google spreadsheet a few weeks ago. But, yeah, I'm down to just 5 rosters instead of 6. Now, if Brentwood do lose tonight, I would have an even number left. I'd have 4 left. Centennial plus whoever wins this game, Mount Juliet and Ravenwood, but getting ahead of ourselves. Jordan Palmieri going to start in goal for USN-BA-Nashville Christian. Brady Tessier going to start in goal for Summit Page. Since it is a semifinal, it is a 4 official system, 2 refs, 2 linesmen. For this first period, USN will carry the puck from my left to right, Summit Page from my right to left. Losers bracket final. You win, you're in the championship round. You lose, you're done. And we're underway with this one. Big time for the puck off the draw. USN win it. Hoyt Sorensen passing to the far side. Puck still at center. Nick Venable crosses the red line, dumps it into the Summit zone. Actually went towards the net. Brady Tessier felt he had to stick the puck away, which he did. Now Vasily Santos behind the net. Comes out in front, shot, stopped by Tessier. Rebound cleared down ice by Summit. Icing waved off. Nick Venable, right wing corner of his own zone. Passing up the far boards, held into the right point, sent back down low by Mason Breedlove. Clearing attempt held in at the left point by McKinnon, but his shot was blocked. And Vasily Santos sends the puck back into the Summit zone. Icing was waved off because Hoyt Sorensen was at the Summit blue line waiting for the puck to come to him, and I think it deflected off his stick and back down. Now it's back in the USN zone in the right wing corner. Zach Ellis catches up to it. Pinned up against the boards. Aiden Osgener on the far boards now. Puck tipped out towards the slot and cleared by Venable. Jacob Placentia backhands it back into the USN zone. James Gilmartin pushed off the puck at the boards. Comes around to the near side. Here's Placentia up towards the blue line, sending it towards the front of the net. Off the stick of Venable to the right wing corner. Aiden Garner dropping it behind the net for Gilmartin, who backhands it out in front, but Eddie Crane intercepts. Passes ahead to Aiden Osgener. Osgener past the red line into the Summit zone. Puck got away from him as he was deking, wanting to get around Placentia. Here's Zach Ellis back into the USN zone on the right wing side. A shot stopped by Palmieri. He pokes the rebound away. Venable clears, and this will be an icing. Hard clear off the boards by Venable. And that took the first minute, 53 seconds off the clock. 12:07 to go in the first. Draw is going to be to Palmieri's left. Of course, if you remember that playoff game between these two teams a couple weeks ago, USN scored 3 goals in the first period, and then each side had 1 in the second. Then Summit got within 4-2 in the third, but then a few minutes later, USN scored up as shot off the draw to be turned away by Palmieri. USN scored 3 more in about a minute and a half to put the game away, so Summit will be hoping to not have a bad stretch in this one tonight. Brody Wales dumping the puck into the Summit zone. It's deep, picked up by Jonah Ferguson. Ferguson ahead for Caden Cross, but off his stick. Benton Laird with it now. Laird passing up the far boards, past the stick of Santos, and it's another icing against USN. Draw will be to the left of Palmieri again. 11:33 to go in the first. Still no goals on the board. Draw one by USN, but given away to Summit. Puck behind the net. Brody Wales picks it up, sends it around to the near boards. Going to be held into the left point. Mason McKinnon sent back down the wall. Here's Cam White. Knocked into the boards by Drake Dixon, but still comes out to the near side with the puck. Now White almost fell over in the left circle. Hoyt Sorensen with it now. Drops back behind his own net. Steps out to his right. Had it knocked away by Jackson Crawford, but Sorensen gets it back. Skates away from Caden Cross, carries it to center. Now he's in the Summit zone on the right wing side. Can't get around the defender, McKinnon. McKinnon tries to clear. Ryan Barrett holds it in. Right wing, passes down. Santos' shot off the stick of Crawford over the net. Stays in play, though. And the puck comes up to the left point. Benton Laird, his shot misses the net to the right of Palmieri. A one-timer from Brody Wales goes off a Summit stick into the netting above the glass. 10:32 to go in the first, and still no goals on the board. Draw is going to be to the left of Brady Tessier. First draw in the Summit zone in this one. Draw one by USN. A shot from Aiden Osgener. A stop by Tessier. Osgener had a hat trick in the first meeting Back on January 30th, puck out at center. It's back in the USN zone. Venable with it. Ahead to Ozgener, gives it off to Ryan Barrett. Puck back in the Summit zone. Puck comes back to Ozgener. And now it's taken and brought out by Aiden Garner. Garner, left wing side of the USN zone. Backhands it in front. Oh, James Gilmartin tipped it past the net from right in front. Actually, they're giving Palmieri a save. So I guess it may have just glanced off him on its way by. Now at the other end, Ryan Barrett backhands it across the front of the Summit net. But nobody in a white sweater was there. Now here's Barrett in the slot again. A backhander stopped by Tessier. And Eddie Crane couldn't put in the rebound from in front. Puck passed up to the right point. Oh, off the stick of Stephen Cartiglia and out. And now he's taken off him by Garner. Here's Gilmartin back to Garner. Oh, he whiffed. He had the right-hand side of the net open and he whiffed. Puck comes up to the left point. Kept alive by McKinnon. Sent back down low. Garner behind the net for Gilmartin. Here's Ellis. Now Garner. Trying to get it back to Ellis. Hit it tipped by Barrett, and now it comes out in front where Eddie Crane picks it up. Passes ahead Ozgener. Ozgener dumps it into the Summit zone. As USN changed the defensive pair. Well, they've changed most of the line, actually. The only one left out there is Ozgener. Puck comes back into the USN zone, picked up by Venable. Passes up the far side, Mitch Profit over to Abby Wagner off the bench. Wagner fires it on goal from center, had to be turned away by Brady Tessier. Puck back in the USN zone, comes out in front. Wagner's there. She passes to the near side. Drake Denning gets to it, but he gives it away to Jacob Placentia at center. Placentia dumps it back into the USN zone. Actually, a bank off the boards dump in. Brody Wales sending it around to the near side. Held in by Sean Scott, who gets it back down to the left wing corner. Wales going to try and clear again. Held in at the left point by Placentia. Backhanded to the slot for Sean Scott, who's going up the slot now. His shot blocked by the skates of Benton Laird. He gets off another shot from the left point that misses the net to the right of Palmieri. Meyer moves out towards the blue line. Drops it over to Placentia, but off his stick and out to center. Placentia dumps it back in the USN zone, but his teammates had to get back on side. Here's Wales. Passing to the far side and Laird. Laird out at center. Past the red line. Brings it into the Summit zone on the left wing side. Passes to the inboards for Santos. Santos up to the left point. Nick Venable. Across to the right point, Mitch Profit. Profit's shot was blocked by Placentia, who clears. This could be an icing. No, it's going to die inside the left circle of the USN zone, so it's picked up by Venable. Stops behind his own net, almost had the puck stolen off him by Caden Cross. Here's Santos across to Hoyt Sorensen, but off his stick came to Jackson Crawford, who sends it back into the USN zone. Now here's Crawford out high, backhanding it towards the front of the net. Cam White with it now on the far boards, and it's knocked away from Mason Breedlove by Sorensen. Sorensen into the Summit zone. Double teamed and knocked off the puck, and a shot from Santos is stopped. But Santos was Vasily Santos was the trailer, and he got him a shot that went off the left leg pad of Tessier. I think he stopped the rebound too, and we get a whistle. I think the puck may have glanced off the netting above the glass. Draw is going to be to the left of Tessier. 6:36 to go in the first. No goals on the board. Draw one by USN. Aiden Ozgener's shot is blocked. He has it back now on the right wing corner. Comes out in front with an odd angle shot that's gloved and held on to by Tessier. Draw be to Tessier's left again. One by USN, but the puck goes out to center. Ozgener catches up to it, drops it back to Venable. Venable trying to pass up the far side. Went off a Summit body, came back to him. Venable with it again. Passing ahead to Ozgener, who let it go off his stick into the Summit zone, where it is intercepted by Mason Breedlove, who clears. Venable Fires it across to Ryan Barrett. Barrett right wing side of the Summit zone. Taking a shot. Glove didn't help. No, actually, no. Went past the net to the left of Tessier. Actually, it did go off his glove. They put the shot up on the board. Here's Mason Breedlove getting the puck back into the USN zone. Down the right wing boards up, but Venable banks it off the far boards and out. Aiden Osgener slows it down at center, brings it into the Summit zone. Turns around and shoots off the right leg pad of Tessier to spin away from the back-checking defender who was covering him. That was Jacob Placentia. Eddie Crane at center, trying to pass across to Ryan Barrett off his stick to the near boards. Brody Wales dumbing it back into the Summit zone. Now it's over on the far side, Eddie Crane. Backhands it down low. Now here is Mitch Profit into the USN zone on the right wing side. A shot off his stick and looked like it touched the netting above the glass. They didn't call it. Surprised. Puck out at center. Now Drake Dixon. Left wing side of the Summit zone. Pushed into the boards. Puck brought out. Zach Ellis. Now he is in the USN zone. Knocked away from him, and James Gilmartin tried to get it to the front of the net, and it went off one of the skates of Benton Laird. Gilmartin in the left wing corner. Now Aiden Garner. Backhanding it up to the left point. Placentia. Placentia shot off his stick. Oh, came towards the front of the net and was slapped down with the stick of Gilmartin. Here's Placentia again, passing down the left wing wall to Garner, who gives it away, and it's cleared out. Placentia couldn't keep it alive at the left point. He has to chase it back down inside his own zone. Pass to the far side, Gilmartin. Gilmartin. Backhanding it into the USN zone. Oh, Brody Wells almost fumbled it up for Gilmartin to jump on it and to go down the slot. He recovered to try and clear. Puck still in the zone. It's at the inboards. Ellis comes out to the left wing. Passes up to the left point. Breedlove backhands it to Gilmartin, who was looking for a tip, but went off his stick to the right wing corner. Gilmartin out to the slot. Zach Ellis a shot. Oh, just missed the net to the right of Palmieri. Here's Hoyt Sorensen. Sorensen back into the Summit zone on the left wing side, taking a shot. Steered away by Tessier. Puck out on the far boards at center, picked up by Ryan Barrett. He drops it back to Venable. Venable up the far boards to Hoyt Sorensen, across to Vasily Santos. Santos dropped it back for Sorensen, but Sorensen didn't enter the zone. I think he was afraid that Santos will be held offside, and then Barrett brings it into the Summit zone only to have it knocked away from him by Mason McKinnon. Here's Zach Ellis back in the USN zone on the right wing side. Goes around the back of the net. Tried to come out to do a wraparound, but Barrett pushed him away. He knew what he was going to do. Here's Nick Venable. Venable at center. Nice move to get around the defender. He brings it into the Summit zone on the right wing side. It was Daniel Lawrence he got away from, and Venable's shot had to be turned away by Tessier. Puck comes up to the left point, Barrett. Barrett shot, missed the net. Summit with it. Aiden Meyer brings it into the USN zone, backhands it to the inboards. Here's Nick Venable. Pushed off the puck. Meyer puts it out in front, intercepted by Barrett. Barrett ahead to Osgener, off his stick into the Summit zone, coming towards the front of the net, and Tessier decides to cover it up to bring about the whistle. So we just played the last 4 minutes and 22 seconds without a whistle. 2:14 left in the first, and still no goals on the board in this one. Draw is going to be to Tessier's left again. Puck comes on, go off the drive, and Wagner scores! Mitch Profit floated the puck through the air. It went off the chest of Tessier, came out in front. Abby Wagner in the bottom corner on the right-hand side of the net open, and she buries it to give USN-BA-Nashville Christian a 1-0 lead with 2:09 to go in the first. And that's the first time that I have ever called an Abby Wagner goal. Good for her. Good for her. She is a goal in the postseason. This is her final year. She scores the first goal of the game. Puck in the USN or Summit zone, Cam White. White to center. Into the USN zone on the left wing side. Puck poked away from him by Brody Wales. Great back checking by Wales. And Jack Scrubb up. We got a penalty. A tripping call. Caden Cross going to go to the box. And Summit, nope, they don't need to be doing this. USN get the first power play of the game up 1-0 with 1:41 to go in the first period. Happened away from the play. I was about to compliment Brody Wales for his back checking. He practically stole the puck off a White stick. Draws to the left of Tessier. Draw one by Summit, cleared down the ice by Mason McKinnon. It's rolling towards the front of the net. Jordan Palmieri stops it and leaves it for Nick Venable. Venable behind his own net. Steps out to the right. Passes to the far side. Hoyt Sorensen. Sorensen into the Summit zone on the left wing side. Puck taken away. Here's Zach Ellis passing over to James Gilmartin. Gilmartin, left wing side of the USN zone. Knocked away by Benton Laird into the netting above the glass. 85 seconds left in the power play. 67 seconds to go in the first. Still 1-0 USN. Draw is going to be to the right of Jordan Palmieri. Draw one by Summit. Zach Ellis to the slot. A shot off his stick and into the netting above the glass. Off of the stick of either Barrett or Crane. As we're down to exactly a minute left in the first. Draw will be to the right of, no, actually it's going to be to the left of Palmieri this time. Draw one by Summit. Here's Zach Ellis, far boards. Lost the puck, and it's out at center. Aiden Osgener with it. Osgener up, a whistle. A hand pass called against USN. Draw be to the left of Palmieri again. Big tie up for the puck off the draw. It's coming up towards the right point. Mason Breedlove holds it in, gets off a shot that's blocked. Now Nick Venable has it. Venable brings it to center. Into the Summit zone. Venable shot turned away by Tessier. They're all hoping it doesn't end up in the stick of the man in the yellow helmet. That's Osgener. Under a minute left in the power play now for USN, and there are now just 20 seconds left in the first. Osgener now. Out in front, puck knocked away from him by Zach Ellis, who clears. 30 seconds left in the power play now for USN. Eddie Crane at center. Now Venable, left wing side of the Summit zone. Shot turned away by Tessier, and that is it for the first. Abby Wagner scoring the first goal of this one to put USN-BA-Nashville Christian up 1-0 on Summit Page after one in the Henry Hine Cup Losers Bracket Final. USN will have 18 seconds of power play time carrying over to the second period. Shots on goal favoring USN. I think it should read 15 or 14 to 3. I think they gave a Summit shot to USN, but yeah, Summit have a shockingly low total of shots on goal. Brady Tessier still in goal for Summit Page. Jordan Palmieri still in goal for USN-BA-Nashville Christian for this second period. Summit will carry the puck from my left to right, USN from my right to left. Again, USN will have 18 seconds of power play time carrying over to the second period. USN win the draw to start the second. Benton Laird brings it into the Summit zone. Almost got stripped of the puck. He's on the right wing side. He did lose the puck. Drake Dixon with it now. Tried to put it in front for Laird, who whiffed on the shot attempt. Puck carried to center by Cam White. Penalty time against Summit is up. They're back at even strength. White with a shot off the left leg pad of Jordan Palmieri. Here's Hoyt Sorensen in his own zone, and the puck poked away by Jackson Crawford. Now the puck's out at center. Vasily Santos brings it into the Summit zone on the right wing side. Backhands it towards the front of the net. It was tipped away from in front by Jacob Placentia, who got pushed into the boards by Drake Dixon. Puck out on the far side. Here's Placentia banking it off the near boards and out to center. Puck back into the USN zone. Benton Laird put a body to Caden Cross to keep him away from it. And it's given away at center by Jacob Placentia. Placentia dumps it back into the USN zone. Puck out at center, sent back into the USN zone by Cam White, but he's pushed away from the puck. It's out at center, Ferguson dumps it back into the USN zone. USN with it, and they clear. Summit controlling at center. Ferguson sends it back into the USN zone. It's going to be an icing. No, they wave it off. Again, 4 officials since this is a semifinal game. 2 refs, 2 linesmen. As the puck is trickling back into the Summit zone, but Mason McKinnon beats Aiden Osgener to it. Backhands it to the near side boards. It's still in the zone, though. Now Aiden Meyer passes ahead to Daniel Lawrence at center. Lawrence into the USN zone. Lawrence, a shot, score! Daniel Lawrence from the high slot. Fires it into the top corner on the left-hand side of the net. And Summit have tied the game. It's 1-1 with 12:05 to go in the second. They score on what, according to the board, is their fourth shot, but I believe should be their 5th shot. Summit win the draw, and a shot from Aiden Meyer bounces just past the net to the left of Palmieri. Puck now over on the near side. Mason Breedlove sends it back down into the right wing corner. Now Nick Venable moving it along. Comes around to the far side, passes ahead Eddie Crane. Crane past the red line into the Summit zone on the right wing side. A shot missed the net to the left of Tessier. Puck's in towards the front of the net again by Venable, but steered away by a Summit stick. Clearing attempt held in by Venable. His shot misses the net to Tessier's left. Puck out on the far boards, held into the right point by Stephen Cartiglia, but he sent it down the wall right to Sean Scott, who flips it out into the USN zone. Tries a slap shot that's off the stick of Crane, ends up behind the net. Venable with it. Passing ahead to Osgener, went off the stick of Meyer on its way. Osgener moves the puck, brings it into the Summit zone in the slot, but it ended up in the skates of Breedlove. Puck out at center. Breedlove shouldered off the puck. Aiden Garner backhands it back into the USN zone. There's going to be a penalty. Or is it an icing, but it comes with a penalty? No, it's a penalty against USN. Aiden Osgener goes to the box for roughing. So Summit get their first power play of the game, tied at 1 with 10:47 left in the first period. Draws to the left of Jordan Palmieri. One by Summit, and a shot from James Gilmartin. Oh, the puck came out in front. Oh! And Zach Ellis couldn't find it in his skates. Now he has it moving towards the blue line, hands it off Cam White. White down the left wing, taking a shot, stopped by Palmieri. Puck carried around the back of the net. Although White has to come way to the outside. Passes up top to the right point, Placentia. Down the wall to Garner. Aiden Garner leaves it for Placentia. Placentia moving along the blue line. Passing to his left, the left wing side. White. White lost the puck. Passed ahead to Mitch Profit. Profit crosses the red line, flips it into the Summit zone. They're telling Profit to get back. Jacob Placentia managing to get away from him. Backhands it over towards White. Garner has it now. Garner brings it into the Summit zone on the right wing side. Up top for Gil Martin. Gil Martin managed to keep the puck away from Drake Dixon. Dixon trying to push him off it. Puck passed over to the left wing, all off the stick blade of White. He gets to it again, backhands it down towards the left wing corner. Final minute of the power play for Summit. Here's Garner. Passing up top to the right circle, and Gil Martin. Gil Martin, a shot, stopped and held onto by Jordan Palmieri. 45 seconds left in the power play, 9:33 to go in the second, still 1-1. Draw is to the left of Palmieri. One by USN. Nick Venable fires it down ice. Mason McKinnon will get to it. McKinnon through center on the near side. Under 30 seconds left in the power play for Summit now. Brings it into the USN zone, sends it towards the front of the net. Turned away by Palmieri. Puck comes back up to the right point, and Lawrence, who has Summit's only goal of the game so far. The USN goal from Abby Wagner. And the puck carried to center by Hoyt Sorensen. Now he's in the Summit zone, gets round Mason McKinnon. Sorensen in front, it's back in to score! Hoyt Sorensen doing it all himself from his own blue line to the front of the Summit net. He backhands it underneath Tessier and in. It's a short-handed goal, and USN retake the lead with 8:52 to go in the second. It is 2-1. 4 seconds left in the man advantage. What a goal by Hoyt Sorensen. Tie up for the puck off the draw. Summit bringing it into the USN zone. Penalty time against USN is up. They're back at even strength. Here's Ryan Barrett from his own inboards. Passing the puck ahead to Aiden Osgener, went off his skates down ice into the Summit zone for an icing. Osgener was behind the red line when the puck touched him. Draw to the left of Palmieri. One by USN, Aiden Osgener. He's got it in the Summit zone. Got Ferguson tied up on him, got off a one-handed shot, stopped by Tessier. But Ferguson fouled him on the way to the net. And he's going to be called for holding. Eddie Crane in the follow-up had his rebound try turned away by Tessier. But Jonah Ferguson just committed a necessary penalty to keep Summit down 1 goal. USN returning to the power play. Up 2-1 with 8:23 to go in the second. Draw's going to be to the right of Tessier. Draw one by USN. Puck behind the net. Mason Breedlove gets to it. And he fires it through the air and out. Comes towards the USN net. Jordan Palmieri has to stop it. Gives it over to Nick Venable. Venable. Passes up the far boards. Aiden Osgener now with it. Right wing side of the Summit zone. Flips it. Tried to flip it past Jacob Placentia, but Placentia stayed with him. Now Barrett behind the net. Leaves it behind the net for Crane, Eddie Crane. Passes up the far wall to the right point. Benton Laird shot off a Summit stick past the net. Still in play. Comes up to the left point, Nick Venable. Venable shot off the stick of Osdender. Was looking for a tip. It went over to the far boards. 1 minute left in the power play. Osdender right wing corner. Puts it behind the net for Ryan Barrett. Barrett passes out to the slot. Went off the stick of Crane. It comes to Mason Breedlove, who clears down ice. Palmieri will leave it behind the net for Venable. Venable ahead for Drake Dixon. Now Benton Laird. Laird back into the Summit zone. Jumps around the defender Breedlove. Puts it in front for Osdender, but it goes off Osdender's stick behind the net. Breedlove with it now. Tries to clear. Held in Venable at the left point. 30 seconds left of the power play for USN. Venable moving down the left wing. Trying to put it in front. Breedlove blocked that pass. Zach Ellis with it now. Ellis. Ellis is going to slap it to the USN blue line where it's knocked down by Venable. He sends it back into the Summit zone. Osdender with it. Osdender on the far side. Right circle, shot, missed the net. Penalty time is up. Summit back at even strength. Hayden Meyer at center. Puck brought into the USN zone. Ellis on the left wing, a shot. Gloved and held on to by Jordan Palmieri. 6:14 to go in the second. Still 2-1 USN. Draw be to Palmieri's left. Actually, no, it was to Palmieri's right. One by USN. They tried to clear. It's held into the left point and sent back down low by Mason McKinnon. Puck behind the net. Caden Cross comes out to the right wing side. It's in a slot and a shot from Cam White. It's turned away by Palmieri. Puck out on the far board. Sorensen grabs it, brings it out to center. Sorensen leading a 2-on-1. Santos, right wing side of the Summit zone. Back in front. Sorensen scores with a backhand. Beautiful play from USN. Tessier slid too far to the right, left the left-hand side of the net open, and Sorensen didn't miss. His second goal of the period, his second goal of the game. It is 3-2 USN with 5:48 to go in the second. Draw one by Summit. Given away to USN. Puck back in the Summit zone. Mason Breedlove with it. Mitch Profit trying to poke it away from him. Breedlove clears. Now here's Daniel Lawrence. Right wing side of the USN zone. Puck knocked away from him by Nick Venable. Venable passes up ice. Mitch Profit into the Summit zone. Profit shot missed the net to the right of Tessier. Placentia clears it. Venable chasing it back into the USN zone. He's got the puck. Ahead for Profit, who tips it towards the Summit zone. Breedlove with it now inside his zone end. Passing to his right, and Placentia, who fires it across the far wall. Back into the USN zone. Stephen Cartiglia tries to clear. Held in at the left point by White, but cleared out by Abby Wagner. Puck behind the net, Placentia. Banks it off the near glass and out. Puck sent back the other way by USN. Cleared out by Mason Breedlove. Lawrence now right wing side of the USN zone. Backhands it to the front of the net. Ooh, and I don't think it ever got to Palmieri. Here's Nick Venable. Bringing it back into the Summit zone. Up but offside. Aiden Osdender was just over the blue line before Venable brought it in. 4:26 to go in the second. Still 3-1 USN. Draws on the dot in front of the USN bench. One by Summit. James Gilmartin flips it into the USN zone. Clearing attempt held into the blue line by Zach Ellis. He's carrying it down the right wing. Knocked away from him by Benton Laird. Now here is Laird trying to get it over to the far side. Actually, it was Ryan Baird who knocked it away from him. Laird controlling on the far side, but the puck got away from him. It's still inside the USN zone at the left point. Now it's moving down the left wall up, but a hand pass called against Summit. Draw will be on the dot in front of the bleachers across from the Summit bench. One by Summit, but Aiden Osjenner steals, brings it into the Summit zone, but the puck is knocked away from him. And Mason McKinnon sends it around on the near side. It actually bounced atop the boards for a moment as it came towards James Gilmartin. Now here's Zach Ellis, right wing side of the USN zone. Around the back of the net, out to the left wing. And a no-look backhanded pass down low to Benton Laird was intercepted. He sends it into the Summit zone, caught up to by Osjenner. Osjenner behind the net. Comes around to the left wing side. Oh, and he fell over trying to curl back towards the boards. Aiden Garner trying to get it around to the near wall. Here's Gilmartin trying to flip it around. Eddie Crane keeps it alive. Now James Gilmartin with it again. He'll carry to center. Gilmartin had it poked away by Ryan Barrett. Barrett now with it. Now here's Osjenner in the Summit zone. Puck taken off him in the slot. Crane with it. Has it taken away from him. Here's Gilmartin at center. And Crane strips him of the puck from behind. Aiden Garner, though, grabs it. He's now in the USN zone. Garner turns around, trying to put it in the slot for Ellis, but Ellis was too far back. Or too far ahead, I should say. Now here's Benton Laird. Back in the Summit zone. Puck knocked off his stick. And the slot, Drake Dixon, a shot. Stopped and held on to by Tessier. 2:41 to go in the second. Still 3-1 USN. Brady Tessier, just a freshman. The goalies are young. Tessier, a freshman. Seth Wagner, a sophomore. And the other goalie that they used in the first half of the regular season, Jack Greenwell, is also a freshman. He played while Wagner was out with an injury. He actually played in the very first game of the regular season for Summit against the Tennessee Outlaws, Greenwell did, which Summit won. So he recorded a win in his first GNASH game. Anyway, here's Hoyt Sorensen. Out to the left wing, passing it up to the left point. Nick Venable back down the wall to Sorensen. Vasily Santos behind the net. Brings it out to the left wing. Trying to get it across to Dixon. Went off the stick of Placentia on its way to the far side. Santos. Put it in front. Oh, and Hoyt Sorensen, and it knocked away from behind by Jacob Placentia. Now a shot from Dixon goes through the crease. Puck comes up to the left point. Venable. Venable, a shot. Hit something in the slot. I think it may have hit one of the shins of Jackson Crawford, who clears the puck out. Crawford has to go back into his own zone with a puck. Fires it ahead off the stick of Caden Cross, who played it with a high stick, but it ends up being an icing anyway. 77 seconds left in the second, still 3-1 USN. Draws to the right of Tessier. Won by Summit. Puck over on the far boards. Held into the right point by Brody Wales. Comes back up to Wales. Wales, a shot off the stick of Osjenner into the netting above the glass. Osjenner looking for a tip from in front. And that means the draw will be outside the zone. Draw will be on the dot in front of the bleachers across from the USN bench. Drawing by Summit. Daniel Lawrence, now Zach Ellis on the left wing side of the USN zone. Last minute of the second. Puck comes up to the left point, Jonah Ferguson. Back down the wall to Ellis. Across to the right wing side, McKinnon with it. McKinnon sends it around to the far side. USN. Oh, it just did go over the blue line. Jonah Ferguson had to move away from the USN blue line. Sends it back into the USN zone. Now it's passed dead to Ryan Barrett. Off his stick into the Summit zone it goes. It's behind the net. 30 seconds left of the period. Ryan Barrett, left wing side. Backhands it through the crease. And Osgener was there, but he couldn't get a stick on it. Here is Zach Ellis to center. Ellis now into the USN zone, right wing side. Moving towards the near boards. Trying to fire it across it. Hit Eddie Crane. Crane kicks it ahead. It's out at center. Ferguson gives it to Ellis, who almost had it stolen by Osgener. Now it is taken away. It's back in the Summit zone. McKinnon is going to beat Barrett to it, send it into the right wing corner. Daniel Lawrence trying to clear it, hit Osgener. Now he clears in the second try, and that is it for the second period. Daniel Lawrence scored to tie things up for Summit Page, but then Hoyt Sorensen scores twice in this second period, and USN-BA-Nashville Christian are 14 minutes away from reaching the Hine Cup Final as they have a 3-1 lead on Summit Page at the end of 2 in the losers bracket final. Jordan Palmieri still in goal for USN. Brady Tessier still in goal for Summit for this third period. USN will carry the puck from my left to right. Summit from my right to left. Draw to start the third, won by USN. Hoyt Sorensen, right wing side of the Summit zone. Try to back in it to the front of the net. Mason Breedlove got in front of that, sent it over to the far boards. Here's Zach Ellis at center. Ellis now actually has to curl back towards his own blue line. Starts making his way to the near side. He's in the USN zone on the left wing. Gets to the front of the net. A shot stopped by Palmieri. Puck comes to the left point. Mason McKinnon fires it past the net. Now here's Vasily Santos with it. Try to get it ahead to Sorensen. Misses Sorensen. It's actually coming towards the Summit net. Brady Tessier lets it go past the net. Now it's put out in front for Santos. Obi can't get a stick on it. Breedlove pushing him away from the puck. Clearing attempt. Oh, hopped over the stick of Benton Laird at the left point. Laird. Oh, brings it into the Summit zone, but Hoyt Sorensen had not yet come out. Or is it Drake Dixon? Is that a 15 or a 16? It's offside either way. It was Dixon. Took the first 55 seconds off the clock. 13:05 to go in regulation. 3-1 USN drawing the dot in front of the Summit bench is won by the Tigers. Nick Venable passing ahead to Aiden Osgener. Misses his stick. It's in the Summit zone though. Spartans clear it out. Here is Aiden Garner now in the USN zone. Round defenders in front of backhander. Stopped by Palmieri and he's got it covered. Off his right leg pad and he covers up. Palmieri again having to make another big save on one of Summit's big guns. Draw's going to be to his right. Here's Jacob Placentia. Left point, his shot. Stopped and covered up by Palmieri. Draw's going to be to Palmieri's right again. One by Summit. Aiden Gardner up to the left point. Oh, but Placentia couldn't hold it in. And Mitch Profit got near him and sort of swatted at the puck and watched it drift out. Now here's Ryan Barrett putting it in front for Osjenner. Oh, and I think it had to be kicked away by Tessier. Puck out at center. James Gilmartin with it for Summit. Slap shot is blocked by Nick Venable. He'll put it behind the net. Aiden Meyer with it now for Summit. Comes out to the left wing. Out to the slot. He had his stick lifted by Ryan Barrett. Puck out at center. Barrett. Now Mitch Profit. Puck ends up back in the Summit zone. Profit sends it to the inboards. Behind the net, Placentia knocking it around to the near side. Cartiglia passing it down the wall. Aiden Osjenner knocked down by Cam White. White getting it over to the far boards for Gilmartin. Ahead for Gaden Garner. Garner into the USN zone. Round Cartiglia. In front. Oh, his shot was broken up by Nick Venable. But Palmieri covers anyway. 11:28 to go in regulation. Still 3-1 USN, but Summit have had three excellent chances here early in the third. Draw is going to be to the right of Palmieri again. One by Summit. Mason McKinnon over to the right point. Mason Breedlove, a shot off the glove of Palmieri, ends up behind the net. Caden Cross put it out in front, hit the skate of, actually no, it was not Cross, it was, no, it was Caden Cross. Puck out in front, oh! No, I'm sorry, it was Evan Duffy who put it out in front, but just now Caden Cross shot it wide right from right in front. Puck back down the ice into the Summit zone. Mason McKinnon ahead to Daniel Lawrence. Lawrence had it taken away by Profit at center. Drake Denning brings it back into the Summit zone. Passes over to the right wing boards. Profit tried to get to it. Profit. Sends it back into the Summit zone. It's cleared out up ice into the USN end. Benton Laird's going to get to it. Tried to stop behind his own net. Almost lost the puck to Evan Duffy. Puck now on the near boards. Placentia backhanding it down the wall to Duffy in the left wing corner. Correction, it's Daniel Lawrence. Now Duffy's got it in the left wing corner. Puts it out in front off the stick of Cross. It was a soft deflection, but Palmieri had to stop it and cover. And then Cross knocks down Wales in front of the net after the whistle. .10:18 left in regulation. Still 3-1 USN. And we're going to have penalties, it looks like. Well, a penalty, a roughing call. Against Cross. Well, USN back to the power play, up 3-1 with 10:18 to go in regulation. Draws to Tessier's left. Summit win it. They try and clear, but it's held into the right point by Vasily Santos. Santos passing to the left point. Hoyt Sorensen trying to go back to Santos. It went off a stick. Came to Santos anyway, and his shot hit a leg. Went past the net to the left of Tessier. Puck comes up to the left point. Nick Venable. Pass down the left wing. Hoyt Sorensen takes a bump from Cam White. Puck comes up to the left point, all hopped away from Santos. Venable catches up to it. Venable backs up into his own zone. Venable passing up the far side, Santos. Santos over to Drake Dixon. Dixon left wing side of the Summit zone, puts it behind the net. Jacob Lacentia gets to it. He tries to clear, held it on the left point by Venable. Venable sent it to the front of the net, and I think it was kicked away before it ever got to Tessier. Comes back up top to the left point, Venable. Passes over to Dixon, try to get it back up top, Venable. Poke towards the center lane, intercepted by Zach Ellis, brought back into the USN zone. Can't get around Nick Venable. Venable brings down Ellis, and Venable's going to go to the box for it. Just as the USN power play had entered its final minute. Interference, the call against Venable. So it'll be 45 seconds of 4-on-4. 9:03 to go in regulation, still 3-1 USN. Draw's going to be to Palmieri's left. I got to note, whoever wins this game will be the visiting team for next Wednesday's Hine Cup Final, even though Summit is the 4, USN are the 5, and Centennial's the 6. Centennial came out of the winner's bracket, thus they'll be the home team. Aiden Osgener with a puck out at center. 30 seconds left of the 4-on-4. Osgener passing up the far boards, Eddie Crane. Crane back into the Summit zone. Osgener out in front, a shot, score! Crane was double teamed with a slot. The puck came to Osgener. He carries it to the front of the net and puts it in the back of the net. It's a 4-on-4 goal, and USN have extended their lead to 4-1 with 8:36 left in regulation. $18 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Well, if Summit Page can't come back, they are about to say goodbye to a lot of offense. Here's Mason Breedlove, left wing side of the USN zone. A shot stopped by Palmieri. Tries to cover. It ends up behind the net. Penalty against Summit is up. They're now on the power play for 75 seconds. Puck out at center. McKinnon passing to the far side. Cross out of the box in the USN zone on the right wing side. A shot turned away by Palmieri. Here's Garner. Had the puck knocked away from him by Osgener. Gets it back. Minute left in the power play for Summit. Puck going towards the front of the net. Benton Laird tried to clear. Held in McKinnon. His shot from the left point. Off the hand of Barrett, and it ends up in the glove of Palmieri. It was a high shot. Barrett tried to knock it down. Tipped off his glove into Palmieri's. 52 seconds left in the power play for Summit. 7:55 left in regulation. Still 4-1 USN. Draws to Jordan Palmieri's right. Won by Summit, and a shot from Sean Scott. Gloved and held on to by Palmieri. Summit are catching up in shots. They had like 5 at the end of one. They now have, I still think there's one shot. I think it should be 18. Draw to the right of Palmieri, won by Summit, and shot over the net from Cam White. It's in the net. It came back out to the near side, and Caden Cross puts it in. It went off the glass, came out to the right-hand side, and Caden Cross able to put it in to convert the power play and get Summit back within 4-2 with 7:46 to go in regulation. Summit get the puck into the USN zone off the draw. Here is Nick Venable passing up the far side. Aiden Osgener sends it into the Summit zone, but Cam White gets to the puck first. White at center. Puck tapped off his stick right as he crossed the USN blue line. Sean Scott trying to pass across to Placentia, broken up by Osgener. Here is Venable to center. Nick Venable into the Summit zone on the left wing. Around the back of the net. Comes out to the right wing. Past the slot. Intercepted. Cam White. Knocks it up the far boards. It's back in the USN zone. Nick Venable gets to it. Venable. Passing it up the far wall. It's back in the Summit zone. Cam White. Passing to the near side. And off the stick of Caden Cross. And Aiden Osgener taken away at center. Here's Gil Martin back in the USN zone. A shot off the left leg pad of Palmieri. Rebound set to the far boards by Venable. Puck in the right wing corner. Here's Gil Martin. Carries it around to the left wing side. Tried to send it to the front of the net. Hit the skates of Drake Dixon. Now Gil Martin pushed into the boards. Dixon getting it over to the far side. Here's Placenti at the right point. His shot missed the net to the left of Palmieri. Ellis trying to send it to Gil Martin below the goal line. Ellis with it down the left wing corner. Over to Gil Martin. Gil Martin puts it back out on the near side, but Mitch Profit has it all, but he whiffed. Trying to pass it ahead to Aiden Osgener at center. Here's Zach Ellis. Behind the USN net. Put it out in front. Gil Martin a shot. Score! He hit a screen. I think it went in past the left arm of Palmieri into the back of the net. And all of a sudden, Summit Page are within one. It's 4-3 USN with 6:01 to go in regulation. Well, USN, outside of the Osgener goal, have really not generated much here in this third period. Now they're only up one. Hoyt Sorensen. Benton Laird, and that was all because Mitch Profit whiffed on that clearing attempt. If he cleared the puck, that goal doesn't happen. Daniel Lawrence trying to get the puck into the USN zone. Zach Ellis has it. Ellis on the left wing, passing up to the slot. Lawrence a shot. Blocked by the stick of Laird, who's able to clear. Actually, no, Profit was trying to pass ahead to Osgener at center. He whiffed on that. That's what led to the goal. Is Mason Breedlove gets off a shot from the right wing side that's turned away by Palmieri. Shots on goal, according to the board, are now even at 22 apiece. Osgener dumps the puck back into the Summit zone. It's in the right wing corner. Puck out on the far side. Vasily Santos gets it in front. Osgener settles shot. Oh! It was turned away by Tessier, and then Santos couldn't put the rebound in. Back the other way, Zach Ellis falls over trying to pass the puck to the far side. Jackson Crawford sends it around the kick plate. Nick Venable with it for USN. Venable behind the net. Passes up the far side. Santos deflects it out to center. Santos lost the puck. Here's Cross. Caden Cross. And the puck poked away. Ryan Barrett sending it around to the near side. Santos puts it into the Summit zone. It's cleared out. Cartiglia trying to pass across. Aiden Meyer nearly stole it from him. He gets it over to the far side. Osgener, left wing side of the Summit zone. A shot gloved and held onto by Brady Tessier. 3:51 to go in regulation. Still 4-3 USN. Draws to the right of Tessier. Won by Summit. Cam White getting it around the boards to the near side. Sent into the USN zone. Here's Nick Venable. Venable. Ahead to Osgener. Off Osgener, sticking to the Summit zone. It goes. Icing. Osgener was just behind the red line. He wasn't that far behind the red line. He was almost on top of it when he deflected it. Draw's going to be to the right of Palmieri. Draw one by USN. Here is Nick Venable clearing it up the near side. Now the puck sent back into the USN zone. That's an icing against Summit. Cam White was behind the red line. 3:18 left in regulation. Still 4-3 USN. Coming up next, it's the Preds Cup Losers Bracket Final between Brentwood and Mount Juliet Green Hill Lebanon. Can Brentwood, after being knocked into the losers bracket on the first day of the tournament, reach the final? Draws to the right of Tessier. Or will Mount Juliet reach the final for the second straight year? Draw is won by USN. Puck sent into the right wing corner by Vasily Santos. Brought out by Summit. James Gilmartin pushed away from the puck by Vasily Santos. Oh, but Meyer has to hold up. Gilmartin had to get back on side. Here is Placentia backhanding it to the inboards from the left point. Nick Venable. Passing up the far boards. Oh, but Hoyt Sorensen gives it away to Meyer. In front, James Gilmartin. A shot turned away by Palmieri. Ooh, Hoyt Sorensen almost made a big mistake just now. But Sorensen now has the puck in the Summit zone. Round defender zone, but it got away from him right as he was going down the slot. And Tessier able to stop and cover. But Jordan Palmieri had to come up big just now in the USN zone as Aiden Meyer found James Gilmartin all alone in front near the left-hand side of the net, but Palmieri made the stop. 2:38 left in regulation, still 4-3 USN. Draw one by USN. Brody Wells tried to get it to the front of the net. It's intercepted, brought out to center by Zach Ellis. Backhanded through the air. Here's Jackson Crawford, right wing side of the USN zone. A shot went past the net. Puck out on the near boards. Brody Wales trying to clear. He does so. Aiden Osgener, right wing side of the Summit zone. Got tied up. And now the puck ends up being knocked into the netting above the glass. I think it went off the stick of Mason McKinnon. Yeah. They're telling him drop the puck to the left of Tessier. Surprised that no one's used the timeout yet. Draw one by USN. Eddie Crane, a shot in the left wing, hit a body in front. Aiden Osgener with it. Past the slot, intercepted, carried out to center by Crawford. No, Breedlove. Breedlove, left wing side. The USN's on a shot, just missed the net to the left of Palmieri. Puck passed up the far wall. Here's Eddie Crane. Crane now, left wing side of the Summit zone. Try to get it in front for Aiden Osgener, but the pass was too high. Osgener knocked it down, tried to drop it in front. It was cleared out by Summit. Barrett catches up to it inside his own zone. Passes over to Profit. Profit on the near side. Putting it over to the far side, kept alive by Jackson Crawford. Pass down low to the right wing corner. Ellis tried to put it in front, but Crawford skated ahead of it. The net for Summit is now empty. Puck sent back into the USN zone. Barrett will catch up to it. Banks it off the far boards, held into the right point. Gilmartin, a shot. Would have missed the net, but Palmieri kicked it away just to be safe. Benton Laird, a hard bank off the near boards and out. Placentia sends it back in. Last minute of regulation, offside called against Summit. Either Ellis or Lawrence was still trying to get out when Placentia sent the puck back in. And Summit are going to use their timeout here. 58.8 seconds to go in regulation. USN up 4-3. Aiden Osgener made it 4-1 early in this third. It looked like it was over for Summit, but goals from Caden Cross and James Gilmartin have brought them back within one, as they have picked up the offense here in the final frame of regulation. Timeout done. Summit net will remain empty. Draws on the dot in front of the USN bench. It's won by Summit. Cam White, slap shot in the right wing, gloved and held on to by Palmieri. He thought about letting it go, but decided to hang on. Draw B to his left. Draw one by Summit. Oh, shot to the right point, blocked by Osgener, chasing it into the Summit zone, but beating him to it is Placentia. It was a Breedlove shot that he blocked, and then Osgener pushes Placentia into the end boards, and he's going to go into the box for it. They're going to call him for hooking. So Summit are going to get a power play here, but the good news for USN is they're down a man. So Summit Page to the power play, as now USN are going to use their timeout with 39.1 seconds to go in regulation, up 4-3. So Summit Page will be in the power play, but again, USN are now down a man. That means they can fire the puck down ice as much as they want towards that empty net and miss and not be whistled for it. I can hear Ethan Burrow saying, win the draw and just send it down ice. If USN win, then that means the Hine Cup winning team will have a female player. Abby Wagner, who scored the first goal of this game for USN, and Awen Douglas for Centennial. Timeout done. Draw's going to be to Palmieri's right. USN win the draw. They're trying to get it out. Held in. Zach Ellis trying to go to the left circle. Puck booked away from him. Held into the blue line. Cam White, his shot hit a leg. It's over on the far side. Under 30 seconds left in regulation. Barrett trying to clear. Held into the right point by Breedlove. Breedlove's shot turned away by Palmieri. Puck taken away by Venable. He tried to clear. Held in by White. Puck in the right wing corner. Now Ellis behind the net. Puts it out in front. Oh, gets away from White. And Barrett flips it through center towards the empty Summit net. Placentia grabs it, but time is running out. Stretch pass out the near side. Ellis sends it into the USN zone, but that's it. USN-BA-Nashville Christian are in the Hine Cup Final, and they'll get another crack at Centennial. As they win a loser's bracket final, it suddenly got very good very late, 4-3. And Summit Page's season is over. And so is their defense, their share of the defense of Station Camp Summit Page's Hine Cup title from last year. What a finish that was. Wow. So USN to the Hine Cup final next week, but again, even though they're a 4 seed and Centennial are the 6, Centennial will be the home team because they came out of the winner's bracket. A much different game than their first meeting earlier in this postseason when USN won 7-2. Tonight they only win 4-3. What a game. What a game. All right, so let me just So the goals for Summit Page scored by Daniel Lawrence, Caden. The USN goals, 2 from Hoyt Sorensen. The game winner from Aiden Osgener and Abby Wagner scored the first goal of the game. Player of the game, I'm going to split it between Hoyt Sorensen and Jordan Palmieri. Palmieri ended up winning his share late because when Osgener scored, it was 4-1 USN, and it looked like this game was over, but Cross and then Gil Martin scored, and this game got very interesting. But USN able to hold on and win 4-3. So here are the seniors that Summit Page are saying goodbye to, and there's a lot of big names here. Jackson Crawford, that's a big loss on offense. Mason McKinnon, that's a big loss on offense. Mason Breedlove, big loss on defense. Jacob Wagner, Jacob Placentia, that's a big loss on defense. Caden Cross, big loss on offense. Evan Duffy, big third-line loss. And Nate White, but he didn't really play much. They only had 2 juniors, Cam White and Gavin Smith, who I didn't see any of this year. Mostly freshmen and sophomores. Actually, no, they had 4 juniors. Daniel Lawrence and James Gilmartin, they were also juniors. They'll be seniors next year along with Cam White and Gavin Smith if he plays. But mostly freshmen and sophomores on this Summit team. And the goaltender's very young. Brady Tessier, just a freshman. His backup, Seth Wagner, just a sophomore. And the third-string goalie, Jack Greenwell, who played at the beginning of the year when Wagner was hurt. He's also just a freshman. So Summit Page played on the very first night of the regular season. Actually, they played the very first game of the regular season against the Outlaws way back on September 28th. 4 months later, 4 months and 18 days later, I guess, their season's over. And they'll be packing their bags, heading home, while USN-BA-Nashville Christian will be playing in the Henry Hine Cup Final next Wednesday night against Centennial. All right, coming up in just a few minutes here on Rink A at Centennial, it is the Predators Cup Losers Bracket Final. Brentwood against Mount Juliet, Green Hill Lebanon. Coverage beginning at 8:35. Again, the final score here in the Henry Hine Cup Losers Bracket Final. USN-BA-Nashville Christian 4, Summit Page 3. USN will meet Centennial next Wednesday night to try and force the if necessary game on Monday, February 27th. We'll see how that unfolds. But again, Brentwood and Mount Juliet coming up next on MTSN.